All right, everybody. It is The Dark Knight Rises. It's the last movie that we're going to rewatch before we get into seeing The Batman. All three of us are going to see The Batman. We're going to do our spoiler-heavy big thing on Monday, the Monday after it comes out, obviously. So we're pumped about that. And, man, The Dark Knight Rises. This is the third movie in the Nolan trilogy. It is the seventh movie that we have watched so far. Why did we only watch 7?
I wish I knew.
Well, we only had 7 weeks to do it. So we have a lot of things going on, obviously. Make sure that you guys subscribe. Look at that. I got a like button in there for you, too. For those people who already have shown some class and subscribed, you can now show just a little bit more by clicking a like on this video. Subscribe to this channel. Hit the notification button. Do all of that. It is very, very important to do so. And I'm so excited to get into this with Coy and Winston. And I have to be honest, the main reason is to show you guys the thumbnail I made. Look at this. Welcome back, everybody. We should just like talk over this and not even show our faces. That thumbnail is so sexy. Look at that thing.
I find it hard to believe that Joe ass went into like After Effects.
Actually,
and like, did you actually draw that, or you found the images when you just did a good job?
Well,
computer generate. Hey man, you know Kristian doesn't do anything.
In a week, just puts that together.
Kristian don't do a damn thing, man.
Drew it
by hand.
Yeah, I did. I drew it
via computer, dog.
Via computer. I did it. Look, I couldn't even draw a stick figure in a computer. I'll tell you that.
So, Bane shading over here.
I just found I found a bunch of images and I put it together and I went through and
look at that.
Look at that. I mean, it's
that's
beautiful.
Impressive.
Isn't it good?
That is impressive.
Solid graphic work.
So that's what I'm gonna. That's the thumbnail. And I'm very excited for this. So that's it, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it. It's a thumbnail ad. That's all this is.
I did it.
It's just a teaser for next week, right?
That's it. I'm excited for the movie. It's coming out. Winston and I are going to see it today. Coy's going to. You're seeing it on Wednesday.
Yeah, I got to do that on Wednesday.
That gives us enough time that we'll be able to kind of break it down, similar to what we did with Spider-Man, and we're ready to rock. But I saw Winston had texted. We always do these little group texts before as we're getting into it.
It's like we're watching it.
Yeah. Winston had wrote was that it's a good movie, but it's sloppy, right? There's definitely some sloppy stuff, and some of the editing is sloppy.
That's so strange compared to the rest of Nolan's work.
It's true, and I don't know if it was rushed or not, but like, so you know what I noticed that kind of, and I think that you could see the whole thing. I think in the deleted scene. When they show they show the one of the lawyers, that the first guy you see when he goes out into the ice and he falls through the ice, you see that as they're doing this little montage. They do a montage of the courtroom with Bane standing in the same
you see
spot.
it again.
You see it again. It's a really bad editing. It's like it's clear as day that was what it was.
The exact scene.
Really bad, but
they also, and this is like, I mean, this is, whoever hates me on Twitter is going to hate me more, but I worked on this movie and they shot that scene like over and over again and from different angles. So it's almost like they knew they needed a few options to use in a montage. Because like filming it, like we covered it, but they're like, no, let's get another one. And I was like, what was, and then it's funny watching the movie, seeing, oh, that's why we covered that so much. That's why. Yeah. And there was a scene that I'm in that literally I didn't know we were filming. Like they were sometimes just using B-roll. So like I was one of Bane's henchmen. So the guys with the red scarves and all that stuff. And there's a shot where they cut to an IMAX shot and all the cars are stacked up blocking Gotham. And there's 2 mercenaries like wandering around and they point up at the cars and all that stuff. I'm one of those guys. We didn't know we were filming. I didn't know we were filming.
Wow.
So like there was literally like a thing that I didn't know I was in when I was watching the movie. I was like, that's me. So the movie was not the precision that the Batman Begins and Dark Knight felt, because you wouldn't not know you're in a scene on Dark Knight.
What was the time frame between Begins, Night, and Rises?
Begins was
2005.
Begins was 2005. The second one was 2008, and this one was 2012.
4 years longer.
But if I'm not mistaken, Inception was in between this.
Yeah.
I have a gut feeling that it was just
year before, I think, or 2 years before,
something like that. And so I think what's just going on here is maybe there's just too much on Nolan's plate.
Yeah, and well, remember also the other thing we got to remember is that the script changed dramatically because of Heath Ledger, or what they were doing. Granted that he passed away in 2008, but it wasn't set in stone. I remember being on the lot of Warner Brothers and them talking about, do you think he's going to do the third one? And it wasn't set in stone. They didn't know. Like, I think they really want to push him to get to that third one. And so it wasn't like, he had 4 years. It was negotiations in between. It was a matter of trying to get it all done. So I do think that time was probably an issue for sure.
It's not a small film to squeeze.
No, it's not. Yeah. And it's really a fantastic film.
Yeah. I would argue one of his best, like after watching one of mine too, I would say, which is crazy now that I think about it, 2 of my top 5 films of all time were Nolan.
Nolan.
Also,
and they were back to back. We're back to back. It was Dark Knight and then Inception.
Well, no, but what was The Prestige? What was The Prestige?
I really liked The Prestige, but I only saw it recently.
But I'm just saying when it was
06. It was right after Begins.
It was right, which is the other reason why it's kind of crazy like that he did it that fast.
Hip Hop Prestige between Batman and Dark Knight, made that.
Here's the thing: there's a lot of good stuff in here as far as like a Batman film and stuff like that. But the one thing, if you want to talk about films and be like Batman's not in it, I know people love to say it about the Dark Knight. That's more about Rises. It's like, I'm not Batman. Okay, I'm gonna be Batman for 5 minutes before I get my back broken. Then it's like, I'm not Batman. Right. I gotta fix my back.
I'm back in Gotham.
And I'm back in Gotham. There's a war.
There's way more Batman in Dark Knight than there is in this one. But I will say that even though this one, out of the 3 of the movies, if I was to rank them, and I definitely rank Batman Begins higher. I always liked it, but after this rewatch, it's not higher than Dark Knight, but it's closer than it was in the past.
Agreed.
Sure.
So I still have Dark Knight as number 1. I have Batman Begins as the second one. This one is the third. But what I will say about this movie is I still thoroughly enjoyed watching it. I think that Anne Hathaway is a great Catwoman. The perfectly fit Catwoman for this realistic tone.
I totally agree. And she does not get enough credit.
No, she's really good in it. And she plays, she can turn it on a sling. What I love what she does.
Slides the ears, that's almost the Christopher Reeve stand-up moment for me. But it's that same becoming Selena.
It's how she turns it on though, because she's a con woman also. Like when one of my favorite scenes. Oh, I love that scene.
Dude.
When she's pretending that she is, in peril, and then she winds up just, taking off and stealing. Yep. She's great in that role. Their relationship, I buy. I understand why they both understand each other. So there's a lot of stuff in this movie that I really like. You talk about somebody who disappears. Alfred disappears in this movie. He's gone.
Because he literally leaves.
I know, he literally leaves. But like, he's gone, and it's like that dynamic is lost with Bruce. And the Talia death scene is one of the worst death scenes in the movies.
All time.
Of all time.
Like, actually.
Oh,
Marion Cotillard.
She legit goes like this. And then my father's thing is...
She does.
It's so bad.
It's like
and she's great.
Like when 7-year-olds play dead.
Yeah.
The sound they make. She makes the 7-year-old sound.
That's not her fault. No, that is Nolan's fault.
Yeah, that
100%.
She's incredible.
Why she's great? And how great she? This is half the cast of Inception.
The editor signed off on that. The director signed off on that. Like, how many people have to go like?
How do you look at that and you go, "That's a good one"?
It's in the final cut.
It's terrible.
Were there other cuts? Did they just get it in one?
It's really bad.
What I also hate is like, I understand making like choices as a director, as a writer to like, just, what, we have the source material, we're going to change it a little bit.
Yeah.
I even understand making what essentially is Robin in Joseph Gordon-Levitt a cop, because you do have the origins of, or you do have the connection, and I'm sure you know about this, Coy, about Dick Grayson at one point becomes like a secret agent instead of a superhero.
Okay.
So if you want to tie him to some sort of I'll buy all of that. But just be like, you should use your legal name. Oh yeah, it's Richard. Do something like Robin. That's cute. What?
At the last third act, like literally so far in that you're like, is he Robin? Is he Robin? Is he Robin?
Stupidest thing I've ever. Just call him Richard or something, and then call it a day, and you go, oh shh.
Well, because what I think they were going to try to do was, and it looked like that. By the way, the movie ends. It looked like, if this is successful enough, we'll give Joseph Gordon-Levitt his own franchise, sure. And people are like, yeah. It's not that he's bad in it. He's fine. Blake's fine in the movie. I actually really like his character, to be honest with you.
I like his character too,
and I think that what he's able to do and his motivation, I think, is there with the orphans, and the fact that he's an orphan, and the idea that he figures it out really quick. I like the fact that he figures out Batman.
I was gonna say that's more ironically that's less Dick Grayson and that's more Tim Drake,
and that's Robin of the era that everyone kind of pulled from with this movie. That was more Tim Drake. Land.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know if you know, Christian, but essentially what happened is Tim Drake being obsessed with Batman and Robin, and then realizing that Robin had left, was just probably the greatest detective amongst all of them.
I actually did know that, but I have to say, but I have to ask this: who is Drake? I don't know that. I don't know that.
I wish I knew.
I wish I knew.
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
But he figures it out on his own. He literally, with his detective skills, goes, I have deduced that Bruce.
Is Tim Drake the second Robin or something?
Yes,
okay.
the third. Jason Todd is the second.
Yeah, Jason Todd gets killed by Joker, and then
is that the one?
And that's why Batman's like, no more Robins.
So how does Grayson?
Dick Grayson's the first Robin.
He's the first,
and he moves on to promote himself to Nightwing.
He's tired of Bruce telling him what to do, so he says, "Go screw yourself," becomes Nightwing. Nightwing.
Goes to Bloodhaven,
so
a rival city.
Todd gets smashed with the crowbar.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Batman's like, no more Robins. And then this kid's so smart, he has no choice because he figured out his everything.
Right.
Which is a cooler origin story, arguably, than anything. Because it's like, I'm a detective too, let me in. And this Robin's definitely much more Tim Drake Robin.
Yep.
But this one
plays Nightwing.
But what I will say, of agreeing with Winston's text, as much as there's two things with this movie. This movie to me is the most kind of commercial superhero Batman movie out of the three of them.
It's also got some weird Adam West flavors.
Yeah, I mean they're the bomb and the but they're I mean not as
It's not Tim Burton.
it's not as Schumacher stuff, but it's got more of that kind of more of the cartoony Batman, but like it's one that you would see on TV. But this is a cool cartoon, right? Yeah. Because you've got to suspend a lot of disbelief for a lot of things in here because they never explain. Like nobody can get through. He shows up. He shows up, and it's not like, well, he's Batman, yeah. But the thing is, he's there to try to find Morgan Freeman. He's there because he needs to get his stuff. So how did he get in? So he's not
Batman.
No. So how did he?
He's
get
Bruce
in? Yeah,
at that point. That's what I'm saying. Like he's not.
Yeah, they never explain how he got in.
Wait. Get into
back into
the
Gotham.
city. How did he get into Gotham?
Okay, I will give a pass on that one.
Okay, tell me how.
The reason why I'll give a pass on that is it's damn Batman, bro.
No, but that's the whole point. He's going back there to get all his stuff.
Right. You're saying
wait, Bruce Wayne at that point.
He's Bruce Wayne. He doesn't like. So the question,
he's got the mind of Batman, but he doesn't have anything.
I'm okay. Like if you answer me, he's Batman. Like when you start to say, well, how did he infiltrate, Bane stuff and all that? Yeah, he got his stuff back from Frost, and he's running around doing
because in the same way that when he disguises himself in comics in the animated series as Matches Malone, just because he doesn't have the cowl on, he's doing all and he still has the resources. I know where he's broke.
No, he didn't.
Hold on,
he didn't have the resources.
Time out. I know he doesn't have necessarily. I've got my full cowl and all that. I'm saying Bruce Wayne for I'm broke is never really broke. Homie is able to get cross the world in 12 hours because the bomb's about to blow.
Right.
And him getting in, that's just what he does. I give a pass for that, honestly.
But the thing is, so I know how he got out of the hole. Yeah. He climbed up, he did his thing. A great scene.
Why we didn't see him in Gotham all of a sudden.
Show me how he got in.
Bro, we were almost at 3 hours. You wanted more?
I wanted 5 minutes for that. That's a big one.
Just for
that's
that.
A major one.
Because if they didn't make such a big point out of the fact that
no one can get in.
No one can get in.
And I get that
they said if anybody comes in, well, we're watching.
Yeah.
So that basically means is if hey asshole to Bruce Wayne,
broken back billionaire.
No, what you say to Bruce Wayne is, hey asshole, why don't you show the cops the secret way in? If nobody saw you come in, tell everybody else.
I'll tell you why. You already got 3,000 cops that are just waiting to be set free. That's the first thing. And second of all, nobody Batman like Batman, bro. They're going to obviously run their mouth. They're going to say something too loud. They're going to kick because guess what?
They got rats in there too.
They sent them in,
I guess.
And they got killed. And they still didn't know that Talia was Talia yet. They were like, how do they keep figuring out what we're doing?
But I liked the Talia stuff and the way that they did it in the setup from the way, even though what they did. Who was the actress that played the young girl? She's somebody. The one who played young Talia.
Oh, young Talia?
Yeah, she's been in stuff. It's not Joey King, but who is it? I've seen her in other stuff since.
I feel like we haven't talked about the climbing scene. We got to acknowledge the sound design on that is so cool because it was hundreds of fans.
Yeah,
they had people send in them doing that chant. And they put all the fans together. So that's
Joey King. It was Joey King.
Oh, no, that's awesome.
Oh wow. Okay, wow. It was Joey King.
How do you yeah? Oh,
how did I find it? I just put young.
No, not that. I'm looking on IMDb. That's not what I'm talking about. I meant the chant. I never specifically knew what they were saying. I know it translates to rises.
But I don't think it's in a language.
It's my phone ring. Oh. Yeah, it's been my phone ring.
I didn't know that. That's great.
So we used it initially for Corruption's theme song. And I just and I kept it on my phone, and great. I still have it. And
that's hundreds of Batman fans. I just love that.
And it's my
Kissing Booth Girl, got it.
Yeah, so it's my daughter last night. She wandered in. She saw me watching Dark Knight Rises, and she heard that part. She's like, "Is your phone going on?" That was so funny.
So we haven't talked about Bane yet.
Yeah, really?
I like him more than people do.
I'll tell you.
Do people not like Bane?
No.
Really?
I liked him until this watch through, and I'll tell you why. And it was something that you said. Everything building up to it, because people were actually like, who has better bars, honestly, Thanos or Bane? And I kind of think you got to give it the edge to Bane, but like how his mind is working, all that, it's closer to the Bane that we want. What I am getting sick and tired of, stop making Bane someone else's goddamn henchman.
I understand that.
That's the part that frustrates me.
So
I feel
when it comes to that, because they set him up as this kind of indestructible kind of beast, right?
Yeah.
But I do like the idea, because the one thing with the tear at the end, he gets taken out pretty easily as Catwoman comes in, blows him away with the thing, and that's the end of it. You know? So he does go out quick. So I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna agree that I don't love the way he goes out, but
I like
overall,
80% of them. I like the journey we go on with him. I like that he's intelligent, he's tactician. He's got the mind.
His fighting.
Yeah, the brutality of that first scene where he breaks the cowl,
and even on the steps.
Yeah,
when he's throwing those.
Yes,
I felt like I was watching Warrior again.
Yes.
Like the way he's throwing those shots.
Tom Hardy's such a beast.
But that's the thing. I think it's just from the standpoint of, if you spent all this time like, we're going to go to Disney World, it's going to be awesome. Oh my God, look at all the attractions. You show up, Mickey's there. You're shaking hands with Captain America. This is incredible.
Yeah.
I can't wait. We're going to go on the Guardians ride. It's all I really wanted. It's finally time. And you get there. Hey, folks, ladies and gentlemen, I am so sorry, but Guardians is broken. Everybody get off. And that's what it felt like. It was all this buildup. God, he's killing it. And then it was like, you're actually just someone's kind of henchman bodyguard all over again.
Yeah, which we hate.
Just like you did with Poison Ivy in Batman and Robin. And I don't have a problem with him being more associated with the League of Shadows. I also don't have a problem with him associated with Talia, but to make him essentially the second, that's not Bane can do on his own.
Remember what you said, though. You said the other day where you believe this to be, like, if not the best trilogy of all time, right?
Yes.
So in order to do that, in order to link that in, you've got to
wrap it up.
You got to link in stories 1, 2, and 3, and that's exactly, because they do that very well in this movie. That's what, as much of the criticisms that we can definitely say, whether he shows up,
it's more of a 3-act act than
the entire movie plays into all of it. It starts from the Harvey Dent stuff, which is a very prominent role in this, of what and how it's plaguing Gordon. Gordon needs to get it out there, and he's not even the one that does it. Bane is the one who ultimately does it. But that whole thing and how that ties into Dark Knight, and then the connection of him leaving for all those years, but then jumping back to Ra's al Ghul and the League of Shadows, and the stuff that they did and the scene that they did when they bring Liam Neeson back in.
Right.
If Bane is just this one kind of rogue guy,
I don't disagree.
Yeah,
but I think he should have been leading, not following.
Right.
I would have had. You know what I mean?
That's it.
I think there's definitely
being instead of being the
or
Talia
a partner of Talia. Like the subservient nature of it was
that was the issue. It's not necessarily the reveal as Talia, but if they had genuinely been equal partners
as leaders of.
Yeah, but he's indebted to her, though. He's indebted to her.
But it doesn't feel like
in what regard?
Dude,
because her dad and the whole
her dad was the one who
went back to rescue him afterwards.
Yeah, so like his life, is in his hands.
But I guess that's the part that's like weird to me, in the sense that, like,
Coy, move that stupid thing. I can't see your face.
There we go.
I think part of it is the fact that the more you look at it, it's this idea of, like, the baby was in trouble, Talia was in trouble.
Yes.
And he kind of came in as this, like, protective uncle.
Yeah.
And then after that, he's like, cool, thank you for saving me. And now it genuinely feels like I did one for you, you did a solid for me. We're partners in this. Yeah. And like I don't
kind of are. I mean, she doesn't order him around. She just, it's like
but you feel like he bows to her in a way that doesn't feel like the rest of him.
He's indebted to her.
It just to me that
she's indebted to him. See, I can balance that back out real fast.
Sure. I mean,
they're even Steven at this point.
I never got the. I mean, maybe at the very end when she just basically tells him, but look, they all follow the rules of the League of Shadows, though. That's the whole point, is that it's not even necessarily of being a henchman. It's you're following the rules, and the rules, even Bane does it when he says it to his guy. He's like, no, my brother, they need to think some of us are on this plane. Right. And the guy just goes down with it.
And that's why I think this movie is better than a lot of people think. I think a lot of people crap in this movie, but that beautiful 3-act structure of this, and also the League of Shadows being used as this undercurrent. Like we said it about Cillian Murphy. Yeah. Cillian Murphy's in all 3 movies because it doesn't do the Marvel problem where they kill the thing. Right. I like that the macro of that is the League of Shadows. Like, not only do they bring Cillian Murphy back for that great courtroom scene, showing how messy Gotham rogues are,
and he still survives. It looks like
awesome.
Too.
Yeah, and to be honest, like, you guys couldn't really see it. It's not as clear, but the courtroom scene is one of the scenes I did. So they shut down Penn Station, or whatever the train station is in LA, and they actually practically built up all those desks. So that was a practical set. So you walked into the set, and there's hundreds of desks stacked up, and Cillian Murphy's like a fairly small guy. He's a little dude. So he's just walking around, and then once he climbs up there, you're like, oh my God, it's the Scarecrow.
Do you know what it reminds me of? So do you guys have you ever watched the best Transformers movie, which is the 1986 animated movie?
Oh, yeah, movie's a drug trip, man.
It's the best. Yeah. So there's a scene in that movie where they're like, guilty or innocent.
Yeah.
And they say innocent, and they kill the innocent ones, right?
Right.
So it reminded me of that when he's just like exile or death.
Yeah.
And he's just like
fine, death.
Yeah.
Cool, death by
exile.
exile.
It reminded me of that scene so much. And I think that what was a bummer about it is I really enjoy that scene. I really enjoyed the idea of this kind of kangaroo court thing.
But that scene was more on the day, is what I was saying, is they had Scarecrow, he had the things coming out like the animated series, and they had the mask. And the movie had more going. Like, they had a full comic book accurate Scarecrow, and Bane's in that scene in the background, like doing stuff, but he actually interacted. And there's actually I don't know if they even filmed it, but
I think that it's a deleted scene. I'm pretty sure.
There's a scene that I don't know if they filmed where Bane and Scarecrow fight, and Scarecrow tries to scare, toxin
Bane?
him. Yeah, but Bane's got the filter and he just pummels Scarecrow. There's like tons of super comic-y stuff.
What would have been awesome to me, and I think that this, if you were still kind of kept the core of the story, and I bet you this is what Nolan would have done, is if Gotham has become full anarchy, and this reminds me a lot of like Arkham City, for example, is if then all of a sudden, if we have Heath, then like the Joker's kind of running rampant in one area, that you have the Scarecrow in one area. You don't necessarily want to introduce the entire Rogues Gallery, but if you haven't really killed all of your villains off, you have this moment where now he has to come in, stop a nuclear bomb, but also prevent the rest of them from just killing. Like that would have been crazy. Yeah.
Then you bring in Nightwing because you need him, and Nightwing's taking care of certain ones. He's taking care of other ones. You've got Catwoman taking care of. That could have been another movie, but it was already a bloated giant 3-hour movie, but it was interesting to see the macro of the League of Shadows work and land, and I think we don't give enough credit to the dialogue of Bane. I do think we were talking about Thanos bars. Like, there's a real beautiful musicality to what Tom Hardy brought to this role, and I know people give the voice crap, but I think it's so incredible. I think Bane is so slept on.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Bane a lot, actually, and I think that he's pretty menacing throughout the entire film. And even like that one thing he does, even to Ben Mendelsohn, who when he just puts his hand here,
the feeling control scene. Oof.
That gives you power over me.
Do you think that you are in control?
Yeah, and like that whole everything about it is just the
Wall Street sequence, the red hood, man.
And I even it reminds me, it's Rocky 3, and I remember bringing this up during our review. This is Rocky 3 because he's Clubber Lang.
Yeah,
and
100%.
And
oh my God,
he is.
Right? He's got the bars and he's got the beat down. Holy crap!
He's and a quasi mohawk.
But he's Clubber Lang because Alfred is Mickey. Alfred is telling him
in the corner, like,
he's going
to do this.
You can't win this one, Rock.
You can't do it, Rock.
It's like, you can't win it, Rock. And he's just like, I can't. I can
he's
do it.
Faster than you.
He's like, do one more. He's like this, and he even says to him, I'm doing this one thing and I'm out. He's like, you got to do this one thing, and then he goes and he fights him in that match, and he gets his asshole kicked in.
And dude, the back break worked cinematically so much better than I would have expected.
Ellis hates that fight. I love that fight.
That fight's
I thought that fight's amazing.
And I love that Catwoman set him up, feels bad about it, and even she tries to haul ass and get out. I mean, man, it's like there's so much. There's a lot of great stuff in this movie.
I agree.
I would say some people are probably going to push back on this. I would actually say that Anne Hathaway is a better Catwoman than Michelle Pfeiffer.
I mean, Dorina just woke up in a dead sleep.
Dorina literally just started putting a hex on my name, but I say it only in the sense that.
Hold on, I'm gonna call Dorina right now.
Oh my God,
dude, you're dead in advance.
You always got to be starting something.
Yeah, no, immediately.
I just want to see.
We're about to see Bane Batman happen.
My only reason why, and honestly, and obviously, she likes.
Let me see.
It's happening.
She might not pick up.
I mean, it's noon.
She may not pick up.
See what happens. Good luck.
I don't agree with your statement either, so I want to.
But I'll explain why.
I will.
I want to explain it to Dorina, though. That's the problem.
She's not gonna. She's gonna.
Please
she's not gonna hear anything.
Please don't.
She's not gonna pick up.
It's okay. I'm gonna get a text later.
Yeah.
When this airs.
Oh yeah, tomorrow.
Sometime tomorrow.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry.
Someone will go, "Hey, Dorina, you need to watch."
This will turn into a Twitter problem. This is now a Twitter problem.
That's fine. The reason why is just this. I do not take anything away from Michelle and what Michelle does for certain people in the same way that you can see iterations of different characters. Some people prefer Cavill over Reeve. Not a lot, but there's some people that feel that way, right?
It's interpretive. Yeah.
I think I think for what the difference is from what you're saying here, Winston, which I agree with you, is that for this role and this version of Catwoman, this is an excellent Catwoman in the idea, like, you couldn't put Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman in this.
Right. It's purely from the standpoint that the Michelle Pfeiffer version, again, we're looking at Batman Returns and it feels not as much as Forever and Robin, but it feels more kind of Adam Westy, kind of
cartoon.
Goofy.
It's a lot bigger.
This is more of the comic book accurate Selena Kyle that I'm used to,
right?
And which is why I'm also very excited about Zoe Kravitz, because everything I've seen, it's giving me the same level of kind of sass, but like assassin versus the silliness of kind of like, even if she was using a whip, which Catwoman still does from time to time, like instead of the kind of dancing about it, I would see Selena being like, "Oh, flip you on a table, break," like, and even the point where she's like about to use a gun, and he's like, "No guns." He's like, "Why are you taking my fun out of this?" And then she's like, "I feel different." Like there's a different level.
To be honest, the different movie tonalities is why the Nolan trilogy and those 4 movies stand separately. But I do feel like that's some of the flaws of this film. Is a lot of people wanted the more groundedness of the first 2, and this one it didn't touch Schumacher Burton, but it got closer to that.
Are you wearing a Bane vest right now? Is that what you're wearing?
I felt like it was appropriate.
Yeah, it was
I always try to do a little bit of side. I thought the fur. No, I'm dead serious. I looked at my closet and I went a little fur.
The only thing funnier than that is I almost, because I got for Christmas,
you wore it last week.
I got I have a corduroy one with the Sherpa. And I almost wore it. And I was like, I'm gonna be too hot today.
I tried to do it subtle. I tried to be just a little reference.
Does she call him back?
Every week.
No, it's Finstock, and he's gonna have nothing valuable.
He's calling from his van right now.
No,
he's on the river where they dropped that guy off in the fucking water.
He just dropped him off.
Exile. If anyone was a Bane henchman, it's Finstock. I just played
100%, absolutely. It's like, what do you need? That guy? I mean,
I gotta tell you, dude, seeing Tom Hardy walk around with the mask off and having the makeup and the tan lines where it was like he was wearing underwear in his face. Like you just had like white right here, but he was still terrifying. Like Tom Hardy is such an intense,
huge in that movie.
What I liked about it also is when Bruce finally hurts him at the end when that
starts breaking.
And it's like, even then, he doesn't go like, "Ah!" He just knows he's in trouble.
Yeah,
he just knows
he's a life brawler.
He does. This is why I think Tom Hardy is such a good actor. He does it with his eyes.
Yes,
if you look at him every time it happened, the first one he's like, "What? How did you?" And then he starts, and you can see him starting to do what Bane does as a character.
Yeah.
The minute the Venom really starts going, or Batman gets some sort of, he starts berserking.
Right.
Yeah. And that's what you were talking about. Where he starts punching the pillar because he's just so frustrated. Yeah. He's just like, I have to do this or he's going to beat me.
It's true. Well, what I would say, the detective stuff isn't as present in this one, in the last one.
But the tactician stuff, because of Bane
it is. But I will tell you this, guys, if they were using the technology the way, they would have absolutely gotten NordVPN. NordVPN, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know about NordVPN, the security of us, myself, our audience, it's very important. It's honestly one of the reasons that I'm using NordVPN right now, because it's fast, it's secure, and it significantly boosts your online privacy. It's secure, and your security, obviously. NordVPN, it encrypts my traffic on both the web and mobile, and you're not worrying about unsecure websites or apps. It's really great, especially if you're on the run. And for me right now, we're at studios and we're doing studio shoots, and if we're doing live events, it's refreshing because I don't have to worry about who's doing what behind the unsecured public Wi-Fi networks. If I'm emailing somebody or I'm managing documents or I'm talking to people on social media, and I know that my phone and my laptop, it's all secure through NordVPN. It makes it very easy also to switch my virtual location with just one click. And it can access things like streaming stuff that's available in different parts of the country. There's Netflix overseas. Here's what you do. You go to nordvpn.com/bigthing. If you want to grab your exclusive NordVPN deal, you go to nordvpn.com/bigthing and use that code BIGTHING and get a huge discount off your NordVPN plan, plus 1 additional month for free and a bonus gift. It's completely risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Why haven't you gotten NordVPN?
I wish I knew.
That's right. So anyway, back to NordVPN's awesome, by the way. You guys should check it out if you haven't.
It's something that I'm trying to look into now, and I'm probably just use the code because I
secure your sites, man.
Dude, just the amount of cyber attacks right now.
Topical.
If ever.
Dude, this movie, man, I don't want to get into too much, but man, watching this movie when we did.
I know.
Just like, I don't want to dive in, but it's been harrowing.
All of it, man, watching and the idea, and I did like that because what it does do, as we mentioned, even though the detective stuff isn't there as much, what is there is the idea, and you guys have mentioned it many times over, Gotham is a major character.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, because we talked at Batman Begins how each film is a different kind of structure for what perspective of Batman it is. Yeah.
Well, it's who the main character. The first one is definitely Bruce and Batman. The second one is the players of Gotham. So the commissioner, the high up, and then this is the actual city, the people,
the lower. Like it's the first one is parallel. The second one is top down. This one's ground up. And that's what people were saying. I was being like hyperbolic about Batman versus Batman Returns. I love that. To me, Batman Returns starts from ground up, and the next one's higher class down.
Yeah.
This does it in a 3-act structure, so we actually get Batman first, then the up and down of Gotham. And that's such an important part of what Batman comics are, is it is about the hierarchy of wealth. It is about inequality of people.
I am telling you,
about crime.
but I am going to change your nickname in the Schmoedown.
What do you got?
I'm going to call you Almost Accurate Jandrew. Like
whoa.
That's how I schmo down. That's how I schmo.
Like because last week we talked about the guy that was when I brought up my trivia question about the guys who have been in.
Oh, and it was a senator, not a producer.
I'm like, which actor was in it? And Coy brings up this guy about and first of all, not only was the guy not an actor, he was a senator, and he wasn't in Batman and Robin. He was in Justice League and something else.
Yeah, right? he's a producer, so I was almost accurate.
So Nicky Cat was the guy that he's the only one.
So he gets the Schmoedown points, and I was right adjacent. I was right adjacent.
Wow.
You weren't wrong that the guy was in other
multiple Batman movies.
And it's like if from a certain point of view you were right,
and that's how I live from a certain point of view.
I called Coy, and he told me
Apologies. Apologies.
and that was it.
That's how we settle things here.
That's how we settle it.
See, I love just being in the studio again because I can be like, oh, really? Oh, is that Cho? Oh, wow.
That's it.
Tell me more.
Yeah.
He needs some milk.
That's you after Dorina calls later, by the way. That's you. That's coming. I just want you to be prepared for it. I'm just saying it's coming.
It's my fault. I said it out loud.
Yeah, no, you said the quiet part out loud.
It's my fault.
Yes.
I think each villain is right for their universe, but I would never compare Pfeiffer and Hathaway. It's not safe.
It's an opinion.
But I do understand. I understand though for where you're going.
Where I'm coming from, right?
Yeah, 100%. As far as like, you couldn't. For how it's set, and like in that world, like the same could be said for Anne Hathaway. You try to stick Anne Hathaway in that Tim Burton movie,
or Bane in the Bane role. Imagine putting Bane in Batman and Robin, and George Clooney's bat nipples are like, "What's going on with this?"
Like she goes, okay, come on, Mr. Monkey. Who are you calling? Right.
Can you imagine? I mean,
he pulls her out of the dark cave like the darkness is molded by it.
The other thing I read though too is, by the way, and we didn't talk about it in Batman Forever. I didn't realize how much Joel Schumacher hated Val Kilmer.
Oh, that rivalry is real. It was in that Val documentary. They touched on it.
Well, they touched on it, but like he was warned, and I know this is not Dark Knight Rises, but just something we didn't cover. He was warned not to work with Val, but he's like, yeah, I've worked with some big personalities before. He said the guy was just impossible to work with, completely like super difficult, and like they argued all the time, and so much so that he asked Warner Brothers to fire him at one point. Wow. So it was really, and yeah, Joel Schumacher talked about it pretty openly.
And then George Clooney's just chill, like trying to be Batman. He's just trying to get by. He's gonna refund you on the street.
How do you not love George Clooney
as a guy? Just the best.
I wish I knew.
He's got a tequila company. He seems to just go to places and vibe and drink coffee.
There he is.
Let me get him. Hey,
okay. Come here, dude. Oh no! Well, we'll keep it going.
Positive reinforcement. So I think Bane is unfairly maligned. I'd say of comic book movie characters, I think Bane gets more crap per good than anyone else.
But I think the only reason why is, and it's just because you and me know him so well, both in the comics and other iterations of it.
That's the more accurate.
Right. This was as close as we've gotten, and we may probably ever get, if I'm being honest.
No, I think we're going to get an actually like race appropriate one, and there's going to be a tactician and stuff.
That's the one thing that's lacking in that regard, and that's all I was saying before too. Is instead of like kind of it's the fact that
he's playing a 40 strong man, like he was doing this like, and I think it's a cool choice.
Versus
Bane?
Yeah, Bane. Just about the fact that Bane being from Santa Prisca and that whole kind of like, you know what I mean?
That is an element, as well as his prison raising.
Yeah, because he's Latino, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
and that's
the whole mask.
I don't think that.
Yeah.
So as great as Tom Hardy is, the world was very different in 2012 than it is today.
Yeah.
I don't think that flies.
He doesn't get cast. And that's why I'm saying we will get a more accurate one, because I think that's something Matt Reeves will want to do. I think Matt Reeves will want to.
You think Bane will come in?
I think if they do more than 3, yes. I don't think
they're going to do more than 3.
I think this is going to do well enough. They're going to need to do.
I can't imagine Oscar Isaac or Pedro Pascal getting that big, but either of them with the acting chops.
We need to find Pedro Pascal's not too.
I mean, I'm sorry, like friend wise,
but
he's an average build dude.
We can find more Latino actors than just Oscar Isaac.
Of course. I'm just
because
literally
they're using him for everything.
No, I don't disagree with you. I do think we need to go outside the box here. If there's some unknown talent, I'm just saying give me that kind of acting chops from either one of them. And then you just need to find somebody that's bigger. That's why I said I didn't think they would necessarily work because they're not big enough.
I'm not big enough. I'm never gonna, because look at Kamala. Oh my God,
Camille Nanjiani.
Thank you,
Gotcha.
Look,
Kamala Harris.
Yeah, right. Camille.
But he got cut. He didn't get.
He got
jacked.
massive. Are you kidding?
Well, relative to but like
I'm
what
saying,
he wasn't from. I'm saying you got to get it. You got to get like honestly, you don't.
Also, Tom Hardy has some tricks though, because Tom Hardy changes his trap to lat ratio.
Sure. But I wonder if Camille's going to
and they shoot him creatively. That dude was probably only about $2 billion, but he looked 3.
I wonder if Camille's going to stay that big for Obi-Wan.
So far
for Obi-Wan,
he stayed it like he loves
because
it. Like he's a gym rat now. I respect it.
Okay, because he's going to be. Because he's going to be a pretty prominent role.
When people pay at least
when Marvel keeps you going,
$1 million for you to be that jacked, you would be too.
That's the dream. To get there. But the question is, they're not going to pay him to stay there unless they're doing Eternals again.
Well, if they and then that's a whole other question.
The nutritionist is the real thing. It's not even the gym; it's the nutritionist. It's the maintenance.
Right.
But that's what's cool about Tom Hardy is he'll even talk about it. Like, have you seen Legend where he plays 2? Yeah. He changes his physicality where one of them looks more brooding and bulky, and it's the same day or like the same week. And I think Tom Hardy is just one of those actors that's physicality radiates off them more than their actual physical body.
Sure.
Because he's only like half an inch taller than me, but he looks like 6'2".
Right.
Like, and they shoot him super creatively. Yeah, the apple box is real. They shoot him super creatively, but like he's also not that much bigger. Like he just knows how to move his body to look huge, and they frame it really creatively. Yeah, dude, he's not tall.
So here's the other question. He's 5'9". Yeah. So here's the other question. Then how tall is Bale?
Bale's tall,
6 feet.
dude.
So how did they? So then that's all a stunt.
Says
dude?
The short guy.
Is that all a stunt dude for the fight? Then?
No, it's apple boxes.
No,
Moving apple boxes.
Yeah, no.
Boots with the fur.
He looks taller in those fights. he looks like when Bane and let's see, Batman fight Dark Knight Rises.
Real creative framing, man.
But I just he looks much taller, so I don't know if maybe he's fighting.
Little dude.
Which is, I would give you that on the stairs, but you're talking about in the sewer. They look like they're standing on level ground, so that's why I was like, is that a stunt?
I mean, they look like Gandalf and Frodo are standing on level ground. Like they make that. You can make anything work.
No, not this one, because this is at the stairs. I'm talking about in the sewer when the try a not final fight. Yeah,
breaks back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to show it to everybody. I'm probably not gonna put the sound up.
Yeah, don't risk it.
Oh, your body.
Yeah, but I want to show.
Yeah, they're really creative for that framing because he's got 4 inches on him. I'd say it's not even 3; it's 4.
Because that's the thing. Bane is massively hulking, not just in muscle mass, but in like physical stature.
They shoot him creatively. Like they really do a good job.
When you look at how they're not even standing next to each other. Right?
Not yet, but like we'll get a shot in a second. But also, I love Christian's like I'm getting my ass whooped. Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Getting on the ground. The ground is smart. Going to that. But I guess right.
They don't really ever stand.
The best part is kind of at the end here when he's about to break his back.
I love when he catches him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like you can't
tell the heights. Also,
it's like the way that it's shot.
They shot it really well. You're right.
Also, if you look at like where he put on muscle, it's like largely like traps and shoulders because that's what you're gonna see and that's what you're gonna throw up like this. I think
some
an
of the
actor
lines
can
though
gain
too, man. Some of the lines like even when he's like, "Oh, you think the doc is your ally?" Like all that stuff. Like
I was
so quotable. So quotable.
It's so great. Like so, I didn't really know honestly that a lot of people had problems with Bane. I think Bane.
No,
I mean,
I loved him too. Yeah. My only true problem, one was again, and we just talked about it. Yeah. I'm sure in the future they'll cast a Latino or actor. But then the other is, like I said, it's just I didn't like the subservientness to Talia. If it had been a partner thing, but we've already discussed all that.
You're talking story wise as far as like the end choice, which
whereas performance, I think we all agree on. Yeah, which is the weird thing.
And even the beginning, dude, when Littlefinger's up there with him, and he's that whole scene and everything. He's like, why would you shoot a man before? Yeah,
for you
and all that. Why would you shoot a man before throwing him out of the plane?
It's so genius. That is Littlefinger. I was trying to put my finger on who is that. Yeah. No pun intended.
He always talks the side of his face. That's
what what's his name does from Heroes and This Is Us.
Yeah, dude drives me crazy. Well, he's got a thing. He's got like a tick. Whereas this dude just does a choice.
Rocky's son.
Yeah, he's got the same thing that Rocky has. Where it's not a choice. Whereas this dude just is acting.
Yeah. But that whole scene in the beginning. I mean, that was the scene that they showed everybody in IMAX.
Yeah.
So cool when they opened it up. And I remember it was like Mission Impossible. I can't remember what it was. It was some movie that we saw, and it was myself, Catherine Reitman. and Ellis, and we were about to review something together, and we saw something in the theater, and they showed, and my oldest had just been born.
Yeah.
Like maybe a year or whatever. And
this movie's 10 years old.
This movie's definitely, it's 9 years old, right?
No, it's 2022. This is 2012.
You're right. It's 10 years old.
Yeah.
It will be this summer. Yeah.
So then because my daughter's going to be 11 this year. So
you would have seen the preview earlier. I was just sorry.
I saw the no. And I saw the preview, and I remember, and if you remember this, they had to convince Nolan to go in there and work on Tom Hardy's voice. Because
the modulation through because
he wanted it to be more like pure of like because you couldn't understand him
because the plain noise plus the way he's doing the choices plus the muffle
they used the actual sound from him talking as opposed to like the voiceover stuff that they ultimately wind up using, which watching this back, it's clear as day you can understand what he's saying. Like now you can, but when you saw it, they had to go in, they fixed a lot because you couldn't understand him. People were having a big problem with not understanding what the hell he was saying.
When I remember that, like, I don't know, I've always been able to pick up accents really well, and I can decipher more than some. But I remember thinking like, oh, this isn't going to be approachable, and this is a $200 million movie. I remember thinking like, oh, this is going to be a long-term problem if they don't fix it. Yeah. I think they did, and people that complain you can't understand them, I think that's
I understood him pretty perfectly.
It's very clear.
I understand. I had no problem understanding him at
what
this
if
point.
They fixed it up for release or something? I don't know.
It's possible.
I mean, ADR you can do. I mean, they were changing visuals in Spider-Man No Way Home in theater.
Isn't that hilarious though that we
really?
Oh, dude,
like it was already released and they then went back.
The portal scene with Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
Spoilers. Yeah. The portal scene. I mean, it's been on 2 months. I got nervous. I kept it secret for so long. It still feels like I'm tattling. The amount of time.
To Billy ain't no goddamn spoiler.
Nobody's seen it. So the scene where he jumps out of the portal, the background of the one I saw is now not playing. It's a different background of his portal jump. Oh. So they literally changed the portal sequence in real time.
I'm embarrassed to say I've still only seen it the one time.
It's different.
I've only seen it once.
Yeah. I just haven't had time, and then Omicron hit.
I saw Winston.
Yeah, and then Omicron.
So I've seen it 3 times, and the third time was a different portal.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's changed in movie. So you ADR could obviously be done in post if they're actually.
Well, that's what I mean. So I mean, and I think that there's what's funny is that we were watching as we started our rewatch. All of the Batman movies that we watched were available on HBO Max, and now only the Nolan trilogy is available on
Profit.
Really? Where do the other ones go?
Hulu, Hulu or Licensing Amazon. I don't remember where. I watched Batman and Robin. Because I was watching it on HBO Max, and it took me like 4 days to watch it because I just couldn't get through it. And why did it take me that long?
I watched it twice.
I wish I knew.
Yeah, dude, that's brave. That's brave.
You watched it twice?
Do you not remember? Because I said I watched it not paying attention.
And then you had
I got to talk about this, so I wouldn't put it on again.
But watching it not paying attention is not watching it.
Oh, well, it's there. We're
talking about it actively. Like we're in mid. Like, what are you gonna say? Yeah, I remember that.
I have to hear the same shitty dialogue.
Just because it's on. So what? So I watched a full episode of Bachelor then, even with my wife, even though I was like,
you're an expert. Come to a rewatch. Right. Let's talk Bachelor.
Do you know how often that happens? And I actually enjoy watching that stupid ass show, man. I don't know what's wrong with me.
I can't watch The Bachelor anymore. I can watch
it's bad this
Bachelor in Paradise. I can watch all day long, and I will sing to the mountaintop. It is only for like the first 4 episodes because it's a complete car crash, and I enjoy watching the trash TV.
See, we need this cast in a Bachelor series. We need Bane, we need Scarecrow, we need Catwoman.
Why didn't you return my phone call?
He needs some milk.
I wanted a rose.
Did you think those pants were your ally? Just really sassy about outfits.
You merely visit the mansion I was born in.
Oh, you said no. You know what he would say? Yeah. Are you here for the right reasons?
Here's your rose.
That's exactly right. Anyway.
I think it holds up. It is a slightly lesser film than the other 2.
Yes.
But I do think it's better than people remember it as being, while also being messier when watching them back to back.
Well, why don't we rank them? Because why don't we rank them for the ones that we watched?
The 7 Batmans?
The 7 Batmans that we watched live action.
Give me a second.
Yeah, so we can do that because we've done it for the other movies, and like we said, this episode is probably going to be a little shorter today, but we are going to do an episode next week, by the way, where it'll be a little bit probably of a very brief non-spoiler on the Batman. We're not going to go too in depth with it, but what we will do is then probably cover all the other movie news that we've got. And then on Monday, a week from this Monday, we're going to do our full spoiler discussion on the Batman.
Question, is this personal preference or what we just think as far as movies?
I think the same way that we've done it in the past. This is not necessarily for best film, but the ones that you enjoy the most, what your favorites are, and I'm going to go ahead and I will rank them. Let's see. So everybody is going to have their.
There's 7, right? What am I missing?
After your rewatch, which ones you enjoyed watching the most. So that's how we're going to do it for this one. And I'm definitely. It was funny because if you asked me what I thought my list was and what my list is going to be, it would be a little different.
Yeah, mine's changed a lot since 7 weeks ago.
Let's see.
And this does not include yet Lego Batman, Snyder Batmans. I'm just letting people know when they inevitably say it in the comments.
This is just for our rewatch.
I think I bookmarked because somebody asked us, Coy, I don't know if you remember, somebody asked me and I tagged you guys in it about what we ranked them. I'm curious what I had before. And okay, great. I had it right here. So let's see.
We can actually start from 1 to 7 on this one because I think everybody's going to have the same number 1. Number 1 for me is The Dark Knight.
Yep.
Number 2 for me is Batman Begins.
Yep.
3 for me is Batman at 89. 4 is Dark Knight Rises. 5 is Batman Forever. 6 Batman Returns, and 7 is a toilet.
A toilet he lived on twice.
Yeah. Why did I even put it in the list?
I wish I knew.
So who? So what do you got?
Yeah, I gotta move something around, but I can do it just by looking at it. So we start off the same. Dark Knight,
Batman,
then Begins.
Yeah.
Then for me it's Forever.
Okay.
Then Rises.
Okay.
I had originally wrote down Returns, but I'm gonna flip it. I'm gonna say 89 Returns, and then Batman and Robin.
Okay. What do you got?
I'm different. I got Dark Knight 1, Begins 2. I'm keeping Rises 3. Then I got Returns, 89, Forever, Robin. And I would say 89 and Forever are closer than any of them. Like that's the nearest tie for me is like that 5 spot is a swap.
Yeah. I mean, the reason I have Forever still at number 3 for me is like I can't shake the nostalgia as much as I want to. And there are still enough redeeming things about it.
You have your original one, right?
Yeah. So
because I do too. I want to hear what our pre-rewatch is.
So this was my personal ranking versus objective filmmaking. So my personal one was Night Begins, Forever. So it's kind of stayed the same.
Yep.
Then I guess I should just strike the ones that we didn't do.
Sure. For now, that's what I'm doing.
Okay. So if that's the case, then I had Rises, Batman and Robin, 89, and then Returns.
Whoa, you had the
Batman and Robin. And the reason why is just again, my intro into Batman films started with Forever and Robin. So I just, from pure nostalgia, though when I did the objective ranking, I had Dark Knight Begins, 89 Returns, Forever, Batman and Robin.
And that's closer to my rating because I think I've been able to shake the nostalgia a bit just because I was less attached necessarily. So my original was Nights Begins, Batman Returns, Batman 89, Dark Knight Rises, Forever, Batman and Robin.
I'd really wish that I wasn't stuck on the solo. I mean, I know how to work it if you want me to go over there for a second.
What? Oh, I didn't know it was
it's just stuck on me the whole time. It's fine. That's why I'm just like kind of looking at you.
It's your reaction shot. Hey, thanks for doing my coverage. I appreciate you're fully emoting while it's happening right now. Just like
ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Winston Show.
Welcome, bitches.
I kept seeing you glancing to my left, and I was like, "Am I boring you?" And I didn't realize it was because you were like, "Oh, that's still on me."
It's because I had my. It's because I got a text in the middle of it. Do you have the keys?
I immediately got self-conscious that Winston's like,
"I'm done." Try and snake and be like, "I don't know which." Like I know how to do it because I know how to use OBS. But I was like,
which one it was?
I'm like, how did I bore Winston listing 7 movies? I'm like, I'm giving very brief thoughts here.
You know what I realized I need to do is the next, in case a situation like that happens, I need to create a 2-shot.
Winston's just staring at himself while I'm talking. So I think the Winston Show is better than Rises. No, I think Rises went up a little bit for me.
Yeah, what was your? Can you give me your ranking again, Coy?
My ranking is of just the 7 we watched.
Dark Knight,
Dark Knight's number 1. Begins is number 2. Rises number 3. Returns 89. Wow. Forever.
Returns over 89.
Yeah, Returns over 89. I love Catwoman, dude. Michelle Pfeiffer's perfect.
She's really good in it, but I. It's weird because I used to think, like, if you listen to old episodes, whether Schmoes or whatever, I would I always thought that maybe 89 was overrated. And it's definitely probably a nostalgia thing for me too.
Sure.
I loved watching 89 this time around. Like, I really had a fun time watching it. I think that, and this goes back to what we were just talking about, a better film. I think Dark Knight Rises is a better film. Although 89 is a beautiful film for the way
that's
that
why
it was.
Rises went up, because I had to look at it objectively. I got to own some of my own toxic fandom. I personally love Heath Ledger's Joker so much that I get really mad at the Jack Nicholson being better conversation. So I have a hard time separating that from my Batman 89 experience. People are like, oh, he's blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's Jack Nicholson makeup. And it's hard for me to separate that enough to let that movie be fair. So that might be my Snyder problem.
He just set the standard, though.
I didn't live it.
Yeah. But I think the other thing about it, I understand why you get upset about that, but I think I can just separate them and be like, okay, that's your opinion. I don't feel like you know what you're talking about, but whatever. I look at Nicholson's Joker similar to Hamill's Joker. Those characters seem to be very closely modeled after each other and how they treat when walking in the museum. Yeah. Like, how often has Hamill's been like, oh, this is absolutely crazy. Like, they feel very similar.
Sure.
So I can actually really appreciate what Nicholson does, because for me, even with as good as Heath Ledger did, and he did incredible, my personal Joker
Your Joker is the clean comic book.
A lot of people feel that way too, and it's some people, I can't even tell you. It's been years, but people still want me to use the intro, because we had Mark Hamill cut an intro for the Schmoes Know Show.
That's dope. I didn't know that.
It was the intro for Schmoes for years.
Wow. We just found out.
I didn't know that.
The Schmoes Know intro for years was Mark Hamill's Joker saying, "I've been friends with Schmoes for years," and he does a whole Joker intro.
My God,
that's amazing.
And we had it for years, and people are like, "You ever gonna bring that back?" I'm like, well, the show's not on the air, so no. But that wouldn't work. But I understand why they're asking.
That's incredible.
Dude, you know what you should do? You should take it, and you should have, I've been friends with it, and then get the Schmoebot to go, Kristian HArloff.
For years.
That's true.
When we do Mask of the Phantasm, we can look at Hamill's Joker again.
To be honest with you, it sounds so weird, because we just watched Heath, and I just said how upper echelon, one of the best acting jobs ever. Mm-hmm. There was just something very particular, and I think the other part of it is I have so much media of Hamill doing it and being so consistent in God knows how many different ways, from the pure rage to the insanity, like kind of laughing. You look at him in the Arkham games, you look at him in the animated series and the movies that came after, like, he's just flawless as the Joker.
For me, and that actually sets up my Rises feelings, is what I love is that we have Liam Neeson's control, where he's in and out of control world, and he's trying to control it in his closed-minded way, in a very pointed way. Mm-hmm. Heath's Joker is the center film that is chaos and that changes everything. And in mid-word, Heath was able to, like, surprise himself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was such a ventriloquist performance where someone was like, and then Bane is kind of the anti both of that, where he's tactical.
So what do we think for the Batman, as we get to the Batman, though?
Yeah.
You mentioned the Joker. We feel like we're going to see the Joker again, right? And,
yes.
All right, so I'm here. All right. So we get the Riddler, a very different Riddler than Jim Carrey's version, obviously, 100%. That we're going to see very, very soon. So we'll be ranking Paul Dano's villain very soon. They're already talking about doing a second one.
Yeah.
They're already, because we haven't heard too much yet as first. Have you heard anybody who's seen the movie?
Loved.
Somebody that's going right now.
Seen it and they've loved it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've heard one person that was reluctant to decide without seeing it again, which is impressive at 3 hours.
Yes.
But 4 people I know have been like, it's everything you want from the trailers.
Great.
So that's high praise, because those trailers slap.
That's great. So, well, that being said, and then if it looks like they're going to get a second one.
Mm-hmm. And a Penguin series.
Well, that we know from HBO Max, right?
Yeah.
So do you think that, will the Penguin be the main villain in the second one, or do you think they're going to bring the Joker in the second one? Will they bring the Joker and Penguin in the second one?
The thing with the Penguin that's so interesting, sometimes he is kind of at the center of stuff. He has a tendency to be this dude that is a big shot, but his insecurities kind of kick in, where it's always somebody else's game, and he's like, why aren't you paying attention to me? Like,
I feel like that's where he's going to live, especially since he's getting a show. I think he's going to be the guy, like, running stuff over here.
If I had to guess, he maybe is the start of what Batman's kind of dealing with when we get into the movie, but then the Riddler is the real Zodiac killer kind of threat, and he's maybe gets a little pissed, but, like, I don't think he becomes so... I think he will continue to be usurped.
I think we build Joker slow. I think Joker's not villain 2. He's in Joker. He's in it more in the next one. I think he's in this one a little bit. We build him up more. I think we get a Mr. Freeze or Clayface or a new villain in this next one. And I think we stay psychological. Maybe we get Mad Hatter.
How do you
I do think he walks in. I think the Penguin will walk in.
Just the pussy I've been looking for.
There's your R-rated Batman, everybody.
God damn it!
It's like I cannot believe
how did that
fly?
Yeah, dude.
How was that allowed?
But
you got to add that to your soundboard.
He has said Mr. Freeze is somebody wants.
Oh, wait.
Just the pussy I've been looking for.
Now, I'm gonna put that on my soundboard, and people who don't know what it is, it's gonna be just. Oh yeah,
you're gonna get flagged so much.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, that's hilarious. But no, I think that it'll probably be. They're going to double up on villains again. I mean, they're kind of doing it in this one.
We got a few in this one.
Yeah, they're doing it in this one. So what is?
And Falcone's going to be a big deal, man. Falcone.
Who's playing Falcone?
John Turturro.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's going to be a bigger deal than people are counting on.
Also, we haven't not doubled up on villains since '89. If you think about it, Returns 2, Forever 2, Robin 3, Begins 2, because you have both Scarecrow and
Falcone too,
and Falcone 3.
And Ra's al Ghul.
What? Then you essentially had. You could count all the mob bosses as one, so that's 3 in Joker and Two-Face.
Harvey Dent. Yeah, right.
And then this last one, you had Talia, Bane, and
Catwoman.
You can even put the Scarecrow
and Catwoman
and you can combine Liam Neeson and Scarecrow as one.
Yeah,
because he's got a little moment.
Yeah.
And I would say, we're gonna have Falcone as a bigger part than people are expecting, especially if it's Long Halloween as much as I think it is, because Long Halloween is about the crime boss's kid. So the whole movie's a detective story about like sins of the father, like Bruce Wayne and the Falcone's kid, because you've got Thomas Wayne's kid, Bruce, and then you got the Falcone's kid, and I think there's gonna be a lot more at play. I think the Riddler is tied to the Falcones in a very direct way that I don't want to spoil in case it's true.
I was really hoping that we were going to see that the whole Riddler thing maybe is I don't know yet. This is just a prediction. If it's actually Thomas Elliot, and it's this whole idea of, so for those that don't know Thomas Elliot, his whole thing is where he is an expert expert plastic surgeon. He intentionally will go out and change his face to whatever, and what he's done in various iterations, change his face to look like Bruce, so he can get a hold of Bruce's money and do whatever he wants.
That mask is very hush.
And that was something real quick to The Dark Knight Rises that I liked too, the fingerprint thing.
Yeah.
The way they changed it.
That was the detective.
It was ultimately the Talia they everything that he thought he had power on, she took away from him.
We also have only said the one negative thing about Talia. She's great until that point. I want to say, like, she does really good work as Talia. She's intriguing, she's sexy, she's enticing, and you've got that fun love triangle with Catwoman and Talia, and they both are playing manipulators very well while also endearing you as the audience. Like,
they
you
also
want
play
to
it,
root for them.
But
Question.
They play,
How long was he gone? It was what, 2 months?
3 at least. They said the cops have been down there.
Because the only thing that I would have really loved if they weren't going to do it, it's too much. Yeah. But if the bomb, let's say you write the story that the bomb takes 13, 14 months to go. Yeah. And remember, he had sex with Talia. If all of a sudden you made a Damien in that process,
dude,
that would have been cool.
Another Robin.
Yeah, right. Well, then, and what we haven't talked about, and it's probably the last thing we can talk about before we leave, is the bomb itself. And at the end of it, when he flies off, did you guys think when you saw the movie initially, did you think that they were going to be ballsy enough and kill him? Or
did James Bond it?
Yeah. Because I remember being at my office when I was working at the time, and people were. I didn't think they were going to kill him, but
I thought if anyone would, it's Nolan.
I thought maybe they did, to be honest with you. I finished watching the film, and even with all the things that I heard, because of how Nolan loves to leave things ambiguous, I thought maybe Alfred was hallucinating.
Yeah,
honestly,
and he could have been still.
And
because you were still on those Inception fumes though too.
Probably,
Is it still spinning?
I was still high on Inception.
Fumes. That's probably exactly what it is. And so here's another question then that ties into all of this.
It reminds me of something. Go ahead.
So yes or no? Bale shows up in The Flash.
I'd love it.
I hope he does.
I'd love it.
Yes
I hope he does. Does he?
They throw enough money at him, yes.
You're gonna say yes?
I think no, because they haven't. How many Batmen have they? They've Batfleck,
Batfleck, and Keaton.
Yeah, they would.
So that's the thing. If you remember Flashpoint, you go in with one Bruce,
you leave with
end up with Thomas, and you end up with a different version of it because things have altered.
Right. And I think we're gonna end up with a different version of Keaton, a different take on Keaton. Not. And
I think Keaton's gonna be Thomas. I honestly think that he's going to be. Yes, he's coming back as Batman as Thomas Wayne.
Interesting.
That's
You're
my
Flashpoint
guess.
in that way.
That's my guess.
Keaton's coming back to be part of this overall universe way more because he's already in Batgirl,
right?
And other stuff.
But I think he's coming back and he's Batman Beyond that. Bruce. I think he's going to mentor Batgirl as Terry.
I could see that.
I don't know enough about the Flashpoint and everything to know how the rules work, but if I'm looking at it in the same way that like the multiverse was working, right? That I think that because if you want to get that mysterious pop,
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I think I think the safe answer is no. I think it's safe, but I'm gonna go.
What if Bale is Thomas?
That's
you
the
make
move.
Bale be Thomas. So the idea, Christian. Long story short, when Flash goes back in time in Flashpoint, the ripple effect for Bruce is that when the murderer comes, the murderer doesn't kill Thomas and Martha. The murderer kills Bruce.
Yeah.
And so
Martha becomes Joker.
Martha becomes the Joker because she goes insane, and Thomas becomes a very violent Batman that uses guns. Right. So I would not be surprised if maybe they snuck this in somehow, and like Christian plays Thomas, and then we don't need to necessarily see him again.
I think if we get Bale back, it's brief, but it would be the Toby Pop of No Way Home.
I think that's basically what it is. If they're going to bring him back at all, it's
a pipe dream, but what a pipe dream.
Because the thing that you guys are talking about,
Marvel too.
But here's the thing: you guys understand everything that you're talking about.
Yeah,
but I mean, what I mean is that
day-to-day audience,
they're going to have to explain it though.
Well, but that's what I mean. They don't have enough time to explain.
That's not true.
They told it in No Way Home.
It depends. They did it in No Way Home, but
wait. What I'm saying is they have too much time. There's not enough time if they're going to have Bale in it, right? So the other stuff with Keaton, they're going to explain all that stuff. That's going to be set up for you. If Christian Bale, again, if he's in this movie, which no one is saying he is, but if he is, this whole thing of like, well, he got killed, the father got killed, and then that's a violent Batman. None of that stuff is ever going to play in this movie, ever. And
I get it. It's just because having seen a 90-minute animated version of Flashpoint that explains it exceptionally well, you can do it. I understand what you're worried about with like, you have to explain the actor and why they're doing this, but I honestly think that all you need is that moment of, oh, Batman. And it's like, he's like, you look a lot like Bruce, but you're not Bruce. And he goes, why did you say his name? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, crap, you're Tom. And then he can explain. You can do it. But
I guess. I still think if two audiences, I think what I think will happen if they put him in, he'll be the same Bruce Wayne that we knew, older though.
Sure.
That the same way they did it in No Way Home. They enter whatever part it is in his life.
It's a mentor role.
He's been retired. He was off with Anne Hathaway doing whatever the hell he's doing, and it opens up, and whatever happens.
And that's why I think Keaton's the Batman Beyond. Is I think he's retired and comes back, and especially since he's in Batgirl, I think Batgirl is going to basically play the Batman Beyond parallel.
Sure, I get it. And the last thing I was going to say, because you brought up the bomb, and this was the part that was funny to me. Did either of you, because it's attached to the Batwing on like the string, right?
Yeah.
Did you ever think at any point that bomb was going to hit a building and boom?
Dude, I was like,
certainly could. That was the most Adam West out of all.
That's what I said, Adam West. I was like, that's full on, like, wee.
Yeah.
Look at the bomb dangling from the. Come on, that was an Adam Westy thing.
It was totally. It reminded me the most of. I think that's why the most Batman kind of cartoonish.
Because it accelerated.
Yeah.
And like there are alternate endings.
How did
of this
he get away?
That are more.
He just dropped it and just flew off.
And he just killed all the wildlife.
It has but it also has well, there's a really funny. Look up the film theorist, and they know Batman actually killed Gotham, and it's about how
the radiation
you've poisoned the water. It's 6 miles wide. They said the explosion was 6 miles. He could not have gotten away that fast based off of how fast this thing was going. You should watch it. But all I was going to say was I got really upset. I love that they tried to, every movie they've had this chase, right? And the funniest part of the chase when Batman comes back is like he's using the EMP or whatever. Yeah. Cop shoots the gun. And he just looks at him like, you son of a bitch. Right. He's like, put it away before you hurt yourself. But we didn't get the same like narration from the cops that we loved quite as much. We
didn't get our guy.
Yeah.
It was a lesser version.
He was, but we didn't get him.
One of the guys was in it. He's like, they promoted him. He's running around with Gordon. Gordon is also. You didn't like Gordon?
No. I loved Gordon. I hated Lieutenant Commissioner. That dude was
Matthew
Modine.
So
yeah.
Matthew Modine.
I mean, he's meant to be. Like, that's the role that I hate.
Matthew Modine in this movie. I love Matthew Modine.
Sure.
Matthew Modine in this movie, because Vision Quest. Did you ever see Vision Quest?
Yeah.
Vision Quest, I feel like that's like
that's my jam in my 80s.
I was going to say how that's not one of your favorite movies, but Vision Quest to me is Matthew Modine and Full Metal Jacket and all these movies. But he is one of the weakest in this movie. There's no doubt about it, and it's not necessary. And it's just like his character. There's no depth to him, and when he's sitting in the thing, and at one point, what does he say? He's just like, yeah, you want to get that guy, you want to get the Batman,
you want to get the Batman, bro. And not just that, it's even the way he died, where he finally is like. Gordon says, I'm not asking you to put on like your dress blues, but he comes out in his dress blues with the gloves, right? So he's sitting there shooting at people, and Talia's like, and kill that guy, kill them all. So it goes from him doing this, cut to Talia singing, and then he's just
well, and that's an editing thing because they do that. They do that a lot in this.
Rough around that point, especially.
Like 4 of Bane's kills are like that.
I bet this was 3.5 hours.
When he does that, when he does the thing to his to the nuclear doctor, and he twist the guy's neck. They do that move where they just turn away from the camera, and it's like,
I get it. You're trying to keep the rating down, but even if you're
PG-13, but I mean, you still could have done it a different way.
They penciled the dude.
Yeah, this is. I think that this definitely, as much as I like this movie, this is definitely one of Nolan's sloppiest movies as far as editing goes.
I totally agree. Yeah. And I did like the Juno Temple, like almost Harley Quinn flavor. I did like the nod that they did. I did like Josh Stewart, who was kind of like a Deadshot parallel.
Who?
Like they did.
When?
The dude, the main assassin, the main Bane henchman.
The guy
he was like supposed to be Deadshot.
It was like a nod. Like I don't think it was ever.
Was supposed to be Harley Quinn.
Juno Temple, Jen, the Catwoman's roommate.
Oh,
they did little things that kind of like my Mr.
it.
Reese thing. Like they were just building out because he knew there was the universe was ending.
I sort of get it. I guess I just don't. I wouldn't have necessarily called either one of those. Only in the sense that like the roommate of Catwoman in that regard,
you'd have to really put it
beat
together.
the hell out of that dude.
You also wouldn't call Mr. Reese the Riddler in Dark Knight Rises, like I was saying. Dark Knight, it's just kind of like his name's Mr. Reese. It's a little bit of a hee like.
Pussy I've been looking for.
I thought you weren't going to put on the soundboard. I thought you said that was.
It's not on the soundboard, but I'll still put it on the soundboard. It just got. I can be selective on who uses it from.
Also, like Glenn, I forget his last name, the dude at the Wall Street thing, like that was a bad death cutaway. Like there's a lot of moments that are like
there's a lot of those. But all right, look, so we have a full episode here as Dark Knight Rises. Before we get going, I do want to let you guys know this is dropping. This is Friday. Tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, the SCHMOEDOWN is back. Season 9, it is back. It is the best it's ever been. And I'm telling you that factual. Both the gentlemen here, Winston and Coy, were both at the studio. They know the new vision of it. We haven't explained all of it yet. That'll be explained tomorrow on the pay-per-view.
We can talk about
that's my question. I want to clarify because this version of us is airing on Friday. So it's Friday, right? It's happening today or it's happening on Saturday? It's on Saturday. I just want to clarify that.
Speaking
so
of
we
which,
don't talk in yet.
Speaking of which.
Kevin, the Smasher, and Lou. I just want to fight.
And here it comes. Oh my God, look who's back. The Smasher is back.
You out here talking about fights. You want to fight this person. You want to fight that person. Well, bub, if you're looking for a fight, then let's fight!
You know how you're going to start the season? With an L.
I'll see your punk ass next season! If I wasn't clear enough, the Smasher's back. And Chandru's next!
That's it. February 26th, everybody.
You don't put that snake on my screen, man. Made me look at that. After everything I've done for that boy.
He's right here.
Everything I did for that boy.
It's going to be a great match. And not only you're going to see Kevin Smets battling, he smashed cancer, he beat cancer, and now he's got to face Chandru Dandapani, and that goes down tomorrow night. And then the Wildberries, Josh McCouga, Elliot Dewberry are back together against Video Drew and Claudia. That's going to be a lot of fun. It's a very special announcement of everything that's about to come. We are going to have a special Batman match between Kevin Smets and Mike Kalinowski exhibition, but it'll be available to everybody. So make sure you go on over to, and I'm going to put the link in the description for that video once it's up. But it's the Batman match. There's going to be a lot going on. So make sure you're subscribed to that channel.
That match.
Oh man, it's gonna be fun.
The Batman match.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So make sure, guys, that's everything you want to see. Go to the Movie Trivia SCHMOEDOWN. If you've never seen it before, or you used to watch it, or you watched it during the digital age, and you're like, oh, I don't think it's for me anymore. Watch this season. This season is a complete. It's called Reboot for a reason. It is the best the show has ever been. It's the reason I took it to Skybound in the first place.
It's the sexiest the show has ever looked.
Ever.
I'll be honest with you. Like just you can already tell from the promos and how they've gone so far. But when you guys get the full experience of the set and how this is set up now, this is the best it has ever looked.
Ever. And and you'll see more once the pay-per-view comes out and the announcement comes out of what we
can talk a little more freely.
Then we can talk more about like the idea behind the new changes, and everybody will understand it. But once again, please go and check it out. It's the season premiere is tomorrow. That is Patreon exclusive, but then it's going to drop on 10 a.m. on March 4th. But I would recommend checking out patreon.com/SCHMOEDOWN to check that out. All right. For Winston A Marshall and Coy Jandreau, thank you guys for joining us on this rewatch. We'll be back next week, and because I like you guys so much, look at that thumbnail. Look at it. All right, here we go.